years I was out of work, and I kept thinking I was going to get one, and I kept thinking, and I kept praying. And you know, those that wait upon the Lord, everybody that waits upon the Lord, not wait, sit there and wait. I'm talking about wait, like waiters and waitresses. Well, that's what I was been doing. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And I said, God, I honestly was going to go to Kentucky and get a job. Because they had all kinds of jobs up there, and I put an application in. And the day I was going to go up there to get that job, this man called and he said, is this Bill Showen? I said, yeah. And he said, you have a job? No, he said, did you get a job yet? And I said, no. And he said, good, because you're hired. And then I went to school for 9 days, and I didn't think I was going to get my van. I got my van on Thursday, and I've been working ever since. And this is my job. You know what? I thought my job was being a manager of a tuxedo store. I thought that was my calling. But being a driver of a wheelchair van, man, I get to talk to all these people right behind me that's in wheelchairs. They can't go anywhere. They're right there. And the best thing about it, the very first night I went out. No, hey, again, all things work together for good. But the first night I went out, this lady, she said, you are an angel. She said, I have never met a man as nice as you. And she asked me how much it was, and I told her. She said, I'm going to give you a $10 tip. She said, I can't believe how nice you are. And I said, well, man, I'm a Christian hillbilly. And I said, if you put them two together, I'm always friendly, and I'm trying to be happy. And I said, I told her, I said, guess what? You are my second. My first job, they got these things called posy belts. And a posy belt is what you put on somebody when you first pick them up at the hospital so they won't slide out of the wheelchair. I did everything so perfect, and I left my posy belt on that lady. And the first person I picked up, so I called there that night, and I asked him, I told him I left my posy belt. Anyway, I got it back. Then I left it again. So you're only supposed to get two, then you have to pay for $5 for every one you don't. If you lose one, you got to pay for $5. But anyway, I'm so glad. I'm more glad than she is. I even look forward to get up in the morning. I have cleaned my van. Brian, my van is the cleanest van in the fleet. Now you can eat off my floor. My van is clean. But you know what? Again, I thank God because the fringe benefits to going to this church are, and I'm going to be serious. Again, God, He don't give us what we want, but He always gives us what we need. And if you just wait, again, He knows He might not come when we want Him to, but He's always on time. And I thank God. I just thank God, and I love everybody here too. I love everybody. It's a shame that nobody can look inside my heart. And down here in the bottom, this is where I keep all you guys, and that's where all the good people stay, down here in the bottom of my heart. And I don't have an ought against anybody in here, and I just love you. And I thank God for Brother and Sister Marlowe. I'm thankful for them being here these many years and taking care of the church. Because again, I took this lady home today, and they told me before I picked her up, they said she's cantankerous, she's a gripe, she's a crab. And I said, well, I don't worry about that. So she was griping and complaining to the nurse before I got her in a wheelchair. She was griping about what she said to the nurse on the way down. And then we started talking, and she said, she's from Massachusetts, and she sounded really very funny because her accent was really, really bad. So then she said, well, you was making fun of my accent. She said, your accent's worse than my accent. So she asked me where I was from, and I told her. And she said, well, what are you doing in Florida? I said, I moved here 25 years ago just to go to this church I'm at. She went, you moved from Kentucky just 25 years ago just to go to a church?
Right.
And I said, yes, ma'am, but it's not just a church, it's the church. And she said, well, I don't know what that means. And I said, well, you just had to come and try it out. But anyway, I'm glad 25 years ago I moved down here to this church. And I'm still saved. Thank you.